Welcome back. Now, the Border Management Authority today becomes a separate and independent entity. It was temporarily housed under Home Affairs Department. Single command structures are now in place at more than 70 ports of entry. Moloko Moloto joins us now with the latest. Moloko, this sounds like some welcome news given the state of our ports. Tell us how this is all going to work.
Good afternoon, Heidi Jokas. Well, today the Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, was essentially announcing that the Border Management Authority, which you know was established through an Act of Parliament, is today as an entity moving away from the Home Affairs Department where it was being incubated. Essentially, the Commissioner of the Border Management Authority was reporting to the Director General of the Department of Home Affairs. In terms of the law and a commitment that was made last year, as of today, that entity is now standing alone. Of course, it continues to report to an interministerial committee of several cabinet ministers. That committee, we understand, is being chaired by the Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi. But maybe let's get to hear from him, the Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi. Thank you so much for your time, Minister. Perhaps I should commend you. You did make a commitment last year in July when you launched the 200 border guards, when you unveiled them, that on the 1st of April 2023, this Border Management Committee will be a stand-alone entity. But in simple terms, what does it mean?
Yeah, indeed, I made that promise, Moloko, and I'm happy that today we are keeping that promise. As you said, on the 14th of July, we unveiled 200 border guards, who were the initial cohort of the guards who will be deployed to the borders under the Border Management Authority. At that time, the Border Management Authority was incubated in the Department of Home Affairs, still reporting to us. Today, from the 1st of April 2023, they are a stand-alone 3A entity. 3A is in the PFMA, the Public Finance Management Act, meaning it's a government entity that is financed by the state, but is autonomous, which means the commissioner will now resume his powers as a person who is in charge of our borders, who has got the same status as the Commissioner of Police, except that his area of operation ends at the borders. For instance, if you go to Beit Bridge, just to give you an example, from the Beit Bridge until 10 kilometers into Musina, that whole radius is the border area, is the area in which the commissioner is in charge. And as we are saying, is stand-alone. He no longer has to report to the Department of Home Affairs, but they report to an IMCC, a ministerial, interministerial committee of 10 ministers. These 10 ministers are not appointed by the president, as it happens with other interministerial committees. They are appointed by an act of parliament itself. And these are the ministers whose work every day is impacted upon at the borders. And so that they will be reported, that those ministers will be meeting statutorily 4 times a year, which means it's a statutory body. If the commissioner meets with the Director General of those departments, finds something at the borders that wants a change in law and all that, they will come to these ministers, and the ministers will either agree or reject or endorse it.
Yeah, let's talk then, Minister, about the actual operations. These men and women in green, specifically, what do they do at the port of entries, both at your Beit Bridge border post, for instance, but also here at airport?
These ones, the border guards, are the ones who are responsible for entry into the country. That's what we call access control. In the past, it was done by police from SAPS. Now, police will only have to deal with crime. Access control means they agree, they allow who must come in and who must come out of the country with what. If it's a person from a country which needs a visa to come to South Africa, they will demand the visa. If it's for a country that only need a passport, they will demand to see a passport. Anyway, passports are demanded from every human being that's crossing a border. Yeah. They are the ones who will demand that. Now, the people who used to stamp your passports were called immigration officers. They've now been transferred to the Border Management Authority.
All right, we don't have much time, Minister, but I want to ask you this question. What is the update regarding the 22 Afghan nationals who the court said that you must process their applications? They came into our country seeking asylum, and you were not happy with that.
Well, we are made to understand they are still in Zambia. Remember, after the noise was made by South Africans, their own lawyer said they are having a second thought about bringing them in because they realize that people are very uncomfortable about them. Well, he also said including cabinet ministers, etc. Obviously, he was referring to a person like myself. And definitely I was not happy. And even now, I'll still not be happy if they come. Definitely not.
So at this point in time, you are not processing any application from their side?
No.
All right. Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi is the Minister of Home Affairs, saying that the 22 Afghani nationals who insisted on being accepted here as asylum seekers are not, their applications are not being processed because they have not set a foot here in the country.